What a cluster. It's story time, and I'm live on the small channel, the OG channel, the OG channel, the channel that I started 15 years ago. Oh, let's see. Let's need a better way to mount my phone here. Oh, you guys don't care, do you? So let's see if notifications go out. Yeah, they did. Sweet. All right. So while we're waiting on the world, all 5 of you that will show up, I'm gonna drink my water that I paid $1 for. Am I the fool for paying $1 for probably something just a step up from tap water, filtered tap water from the PepsiCo company, or is this? Yeah, PepsiCo. Endorsement. I figured I would go live in the pickup truck before it gets too hot. I just got done with my workout, which is why this only cost $1 at the purple place. It's not as good as the electrolyte water that I got at home, but in a pinch, it's good. We'll get some more people in here. There's 6. Yay. I know it's middle of the day. It's Saturday. You're either driving or hanging out with your family, which I wouldn't be watching me if I was doing either one of those things. I'd be like, Steve can wait. So it doesn't matter. Yeah, do what Shannon says and hit the like. Get this video out. Not that it's going to be important. Because, you know, the little bit of narcissism in me wants this. I want this attention. I want you to look at me and talk to me and make me feel like I'm something special. Because that's what I've done. So anyways, it's Saturday. What day is it? The 24th. I had to help a driver book a load today. Because the technology aspect of their app wasn't working properly, so I had to help them out. So I was happy to help. Story time. So if you're looking for trucking content, it ain't here. It ain't in this video. Other than the relationship to truck drivers is that the food is killing you, and I'm going to give you a story, right? I'm going to give you a story. What's it like to be on a low carb, insert trend word here, way of eating? I don't call it a diet because the word die is in diet. It's a way of eating. It's a way of making us feel better so we don't think we're in a diet, because diet subliminally says restriction. It subliminally says you're going to struggle, that you're going to suffer because you're not eating that cake with everybody else. And so I want to tell you a story. It's kind of funny. It's from my old band, you know, guitar playing days. And here it goes. So speaking of water is a big part of this story, right? So back in the mid-90s, I know that's a long time ago for you young folk, but bear with me here. Back in the mid-90s, back when we had to walk to school in the snow and both ways, up a hill, avoiding alligators and such. At the end of a show, we would have, generally the local metal shows would be on Saturday nights. And back in the mid-90s, Shoney's, you guys remember Shoney's, Denny's, and Waffle House, they were the 3 main places that were 24 hours. Like, so it was kind of customary for a bunch of us, since a lot of us didn't drink, believe it or not. We would go to, after a show, after we've loaded the gear or unloaded the gear or whatever, we would go to Shoney's and we would do the breakfast, right? And usually it was the breakfast buffet. It was back when Shoney's had the breakfast buffet like from like 11 o'clock at night to like 10 a.m., right? It's probably what put him out of business, is people like me that would take advantage of that. Now, back then I wasn't that big. I was like average build probably. Still a very weak man, but average build. And so a bunch of us were sitting at the table, and the waitress, of course, she's got this look like, oh God, please don't let them destroy things or whatever. For the most part, we were pretty respectful. We didn't trash the place. We weren't rude to the customers. We wanted to put a positive impression that metalheads can be cool, to the general scary public, scaredy cat public. So anyways, a bunch of us were sitting down, and there's one guy in particular. There's two people in particular. One of them, I think, is either dead or in prison now, and the other one is very successful, working for a food place. So a food place that you might have delivered to if you're delivering groceries a lot. So anyways, the prison guy, he sits down, and he was a funny guy. He was a funny guy. He was a little bit probably twisted. He was lost in the world, but he was kind of a funny dude to hang out with or whatever. And he gets up to use the buffet or use the bathroom or something, and then the professional, the guy that's now a professional food guy, he sits down and he spits in his water. And we're like, oh my God, I can't believe, we're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you did that. It was hilarious, right? Because, when you're in your early 20s, you're easily entertained, right? You're easily entertained. So while I'm thinking of that, let me take a swig of this water. I want you to think about that. The waitress just brought out all the water, and, and my friend just goes, poo, So now, everybody's at the table and saw this, except for the future prison dude that's coming back from the buffet. So he sits down, and we're all just like waiting, like just watching, waiting for him to drink the water. And he kept doing this. He's like, let's pretend this is a glass of water, right? And he's like, he was telling a joke. He was telling us a story. He's like, yeah, and then, and then he, just before he put his mouth to the glass, everybody's like, and and we were just watching, like just waiting, anticipating, and finally he laughs after he tells the story and takes a swig, and we all laugh. And he thought he was the funniest thing ever since, Bad Bill Cosby, right? It was hilarious. And for the entire night, nobody, because this guy wasn't well liked, nobody told this dude that the other guy had spit in his water. And so all night, not all night, we were only there for like a couple hours. I'm like, he's like, everybody's just laughing at him, but nobody told him. Nobody told him. And so we all just watched, feeling sorry for him a little bit, that he is drinking this water that's been spit in, and he was none the wiser, right? So the moral of this story is, well, there's two morals. Don't spit in your friend's water, no matter how much they might deserve it, right? But number two, more importantly, is that's how I feel when I watch people at the grocery store buying whole cases of Pepsi or Diet Pepsi, or whole cases of Twinkies, and buying all the snacky foods that are processed. That's how I feel. Not laughing at these people, because that's not the point. There was a general sadness that made me feel sorry for the dude, right? It makes me feel sad, because there was a time where I was that person. Now, I hate Diet Pepsi, but you get the gist. I was a Mountain Dew junkie. I was a Mountain Dew fiend. One time when I was living with my sister, a friend of my sister gave me a whole case of Mountain Dew. I had downed that thing in like 4 days. And I actually put a dent in my car because I was just like wires, like, because I was mad at something that was something small. Old school Sudafed and caffeine, like, and sugar is a bad combination for my anger issues that I had back then. And so, and not only that, but that dye that they put in Mountain Dew that causes like you to your thingamajigger to go, well, you know, so you want to avoid that anyways. But anyways, so that's how I feel. And so living a low carb life can feel lonely sometimes, because, you know, how much of our social is based around food. You know, we go to restaurant, like whenever drivers come into town, what do? We go, I take you to the Mexican restaurant over there by the TA in Stratford, and or I take you to Chinese, like Shannon, and we eat bad food, right? And so I'm not perfect. I'm not dogmatic about it. I'm not like sitting there, do as I say, not as I do. You know, I try to make a conscious effort to eat as clean as I possibly can. But, you know, there are days when it's just impossible. And living on the road, it's definitely impossible. And so one of the things that I put in my head, say I'm weird, okay? I'm like, you know, I'm not as weird as this person. Check this out. Let me reverse this camera here. See that? That's a hearse. This chick pulled up. She had purple hair. She was wearing a mask. She had like platform shoes that were about the size of Gene Simmons, and that's a hearse. She just went into the purple place to work out. Obviously she lives in Mississippi, but she has a hearse. But anyways, an obsession in death. Yeah. Anyways, it's kind of lonely, because when you're at a party, like, you know, like imagine you're a kid, okay? We'll use children as an example. As a kid, we had the cupcake party at the end of class because it was somebody's birthday, right? Now, I don't know if they do it as much now because of all the food allergies that kids have. You had to be really careful with that now. Wait a minute. We didn't have a whole lot of food allergies growing up, but the kids do today. I wonder why. I wonder what causes that. Different topic for a different day. But imagine you're the kid that your mom said, hey, you can't eat cake. And the kids in there like, man, I wish I could eat cake with the rest of the kids, you know, and blah, blah, blah. And that's what it's like sometimes, you know. You just, you know, and the way society works, the way mob rules works, is if you don't do what everybody else is doing, you're a freak, you're weird, like you are not normal. And because we're a tribalistic species, it's a survival instinct. You know, if you're a bunch of gazelle and that you got that one 3-legged gazelle with the cross eye and the horn in the back of his head, guess what? The other gazelles are going to like, dude, you're a freak. Get away from us. Let the lion eat you, right? And so when you're doing things that no one else is doing, it makes it harder to be more social, right? And then if you do, let's say you do the cake party. You're like in the cake party. You're like, yeah, I don't want any cake. Everybody looks at you like, what's wrong with you? What? Who doesn't like cake? Do you got a weird disease or something? No. Are you gluten intolerant? Because this is gluten free. No. Are you allergic to cinnamon? No. Do you have a nut allergy? There's no nuts in this. And people like, all of the sudden they think that you're judging them. That's the problem. People think that, oh, that guy's not eating cake because he thinks he's too good for himself. So therefore, he probably thinks he's better than me. So guess what? He probably is looking down on me because I'm eating cake and he ain't. Well, screw that guy. And of course, the herd mentality kicks in, and you're booted. No one wants to hang out with you. No one wants to talk to you. No one's entertained by you. You're the weird, freaky, stoic guy in the background that no one likes to talk to because you make them feel uncomfortable. And that's what it's like. That's probably one of the biggest challenges of living a low carb life. And so processed food product makers, you know what they do? They capitalize on that. They capitalize on oh, look at these weird freaky people. Let's call this product keto. Let's call this product organic. Let's call this product sugar-free. And let's not tell them what the other chemicals are in on it. So you're like sitting there eating a bunch of keto bread and keto cake. You're like, yeah, man, I'm low carb. Yeah, look at me. I can eat sandwiches too. I feel good, right? I've got keto ice cream. And meanwhile, your weight's like, yo, dude, no, you're doing this wrong. Because you're not looking at the science. Now, I will say that if you got to do the bread, that kind of stuff, it's tough being in a social situation. And so, when someone comes into town, I take them to lunch or dinner, here in Springfield at the truck stop or whatever. Well, I'll let my guard down a little bit because I don't want to make people uncomfortable. I still care about that, right? I don't, I don't care what people think kind of guy. Trust me. I mean, why else would I wear my beard, tied up? But at the same time, I don't want people to be uncomfortable by my presence. I want them to be able to eat in peace. And I'm not lecturing you during your meal. It's just not going to happen. I mean, it's happened, but only because people ask me. They ask me, hey, and the next thing you know, they're asking about, well, are these French fries that I'm eating bad? And I'm like, well, yeah, notice I'm not eating them. And then it gets awkward, and then nobody invites me to dinner anymore. So that's the biggest challenge of living a low carb lifestyle, is that you're a freak. You're weird. You're trying to beat an addiction. That's like an alcoholic going to a bar and saying, no thanks, I'll have water. But at least the alcoholic can say, I'm the designated driver. So everybody's like, oh, well, cool. Yeah, you definitely, here's a free Coca-Cola. Here's a free O'Doul's, and you're not looked down upon. You're looked as a hero. Whereas on the food side, you're like, look at this weird guy who's probably miserable because he doesn't have variety in his food because he won't eat the donuts with us, making us feel bad because we're eating donuts and he's not, and blah, 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 blah. The carb police. Well, I almost said the word that would probably get me banned. The carb NA blank blank person, right? So, and I'm not like that. I try not to be like that. Sometimes my wife catches me somewhat being like that, but then I'm not like that. I try not to be like that. So if you come to hang out with me, I'm not going to judge you. I'm not, if you ask me questions, I will tell you the truth. I'm not going to sit there like, yeah, man, those fries with that Dr. Pepper cherry flavored cream whatever is good. Yeah, you're all right. It's okay to have once in a while. I'm not doing that. But at the same time, I'm not going to sit there like, I can't believe you're eating fries. I can't believe that dude, are you seriously drinking all that sugar? I'm not doing that. Now, the YouTubes and the Facebooks will make you think that we're all like this, and we're not. And trust me, there's a few carnivore pages that I'm a part of on Facebook, and those guys, man, they will do that. They probably have no friends. They sit there and judge everybody's plates. Someone goes, hey, check out this meal. I made this ribeye steak and I put onions and mushrooms on it and butter and it's really good, and oregano, and then the diehards will go, you can't have onions and mushrooms, and you can't have, how dare you spice it. And then next thing you know, that person's like, well, F you guys, I don't want to be a part of this carnivore community, and I'm going to go back to eating the things that I was addicted to, right? And I'll get to the comments here. I'm not one of those guys that's going to do a live feed and not read the comments, but but I just wanted to tell you my story. So go back to the band days when we're like laughing at the dude that had his water spinning, and eventually, you know, conscience would kick in, and I think one of them actually finally changed the dude's water without him realizing it. But still, no one told him. And you know, eventually I feel sorry, and so whenever I see these like these churches have these Easter egg hunts, and they put like 30,000 pounds of sugar inside these eggs, and it's a recipe for future addictions that is destroying us metabolically. And but yet the kids have been programmed like your 1-year-old birthday. What do? They put you without a shirt on in your high chair, and what do? You tear apart a cake. It's all cute and everything, right? And you know, and then the kid, like, you can just literally see the sugar hitting his brain. He's like, rah! He's got like 50 people in his house, and there's like 20 gifts on the floor, and sensory overload. Then we wonder why our kids grow up with anxiety and depression, and they're hopped up on dopamine with the latest video games. You know, it's instilled. It's instilled. And so when it comes time after a health scare like Sterling and I see in here, it's tough, because after a health scare you have no choice. You have no choice but to live this life. And so you go in the grocery store and you get depressed because 90% of the stuff you either can't have or you don't want it. And it's kind of like going into a shoe store, right? Like, look at all these great assortment of shoes, but they don't have your size, right? Oh, this would be a cool pair of shoes if it was in my size. You know, it's kind of like that with the grocery store, right? And then when you start reading labels, you start reading ingredient lists, and you're like, holy moly. You know, you're just like appalled. Now, the other thing is, you'll have friends that will go, man, check out this really good cake I'm eating. Too bad you can't have it, you know, or look at this popsicle I'm eating. Too bad you can't have it. It's so good. Thomas Wilson, he used to do that. He used to like send me texts of what he was eating, right? Knowing that I was low carb. And you know, here's the thing though. That's human nature. People will do that because deep down inside, they don't understand why you might avoid really good, delicious things that we're really, truly not supposed to eat. And so it makes them feel uncomfortable. So to make up for that uncomfortable, they'll be like, oh, look at this soda. Oh, it's so good. And you're like, please, that's a backache. That's my pancreas hurting. That's what that is. Sugary, sweet smells smell rancid to me. It smells like death, right? And once you get that in your head, people that do that to you, it just shows you who your true friends are and who's ready to support you and who's not. So it's, you know, and I'm reading this book called The Laws of Human Nature. It's really good. It's really informative. It really kind of helps you look inside yourself. And then by doing that, you're able to analyze other people and really take them deeper than what their face value is. And you'll realize that humans are going to do what humans are going to do. You know, pride, ego, arrogance. We're addicted to everything. You know, you got alcoholics, you know, shouting on the rooftops. You've got drug addicts in the street doing it openly. You know, and you have to wonder what causes that. What causes that? What causes people to have anxiety? What causes people to search for the dopamine? What causes people to just be nasty to each other? You know, what you know, we all crave community, right? And that's what this YouTube live stuff do. We got 15 people in here, and we're a community right now. You know, a couple of them are probably hate watchers going, man, this guy's an idiot. His beard looks stupid, whatever. But the rest of you are probably like, man, Steve's kind of cool. I'd like to hang out with him. I wonder what he's like in person. I bet you he's an ass in person, right? And you might be saying that, but we're a community. We're hanging out. It's like we're in a room of we're in the we're in the dining room at Shoney's after a show, hanging out, talking about all kinds of things, right? And that's kind of where we're at. So community, we all desire community, and being in a truck, and I know this from experience, it makes you an isolationalist. Like, yeah, you're on your Bluetooth and talking to your friends and all that, and some of you idiots are probably like, doing live streaming going down the road. But the reality is that you're by yourself. You're encased in this cab of this truck, and it's all about you. The cars are affecting you, traffic's affecting you, the weather's affecting you. And so you tend, I know that I became a lot more narcissistic being a truck driver, to the point that it caused problems in relationships that I had. And I had to like nip that in the bud. I had to punch that guy in the face and take a karambit to his throat and be done with that. And that's what going to the gym is. It's taking a karambit and slicing the throat of the old guy that didn't care about himself, didn't care about other people, and was destroying things slowly but surely. That's what that's about. Taking a karambit, right? And that image has been in my head, so I'm kind of worried about myself. But let's go to the comments, right? David Edwards, what's up? Shannon Thomas, good afternoon from snowy West Virginia. Sucks to be you, Shannon. Greetings from Thunder Bay, Ontario. Greg Zimmer up in the North Mexico area. Pigtail, yo weekend. Pigtail, I believe there's a gun show coming up. You ought to come down. We'll hang out. Shannon says hit the like. David says hi, Shannon. Shannon's on her 34. Good deal. David's on home time. Pigtail is couch surfing. Welcome back, has retracted his message. Sage Outcast, hey now. I'm coming. Shannon says I'm coming to Springfield next Friday for the weekend. Hey girl. Well, you'll have to hang out with the wife and I, and we'll take you to a cave, like a drive-through cave. You don't have to drive through it. You get in this Jeep and they drive you through it. We'll do that for you. And we'll take you to a cool restaurant, not that crappy place I took you the last time you were here. Buck Brown, my fellow Snorelordians, howdy from the NA state line. Indiana, Iowa. Oh, Shannon says not cool, bro. So I've been struggling with my food choices the past couple of days. David Edwards, you're in this critical point where you're probably living. I know you said you're home every weekend, but you're living off of this processed food, being a truck driver. And see, and that's what happens to most new truck drivers, is they gain 15 pounds in their first year, 15, 20 pounds, because it's the processing. It's not, and people are like, well, it's because you're not moving around or whatever. No, it's the food you're eating. Because remember, I lost 100 pounds without exercise, without working out, simply by changing my diet. Now, you can't be dogmatic on the road. You have to do what they call a dirty keto. Again, I hate trend buzzwords. But, you choose the boiled eggs, or you choose the hot dogs over the chips, over the Pringles. You choose pork rinds over the Lay's. You choose unflavored pork rinds over the Lay's. You choose salad over the breakfast burritos, stuff like that. You can do the egg sandwiches, but take the bread, throw it at a bird, and then just eat the meat and the egg, right? You can do that. You can do the iron skillet breakfast buffet to go and just get nothing but the meat and eggs and stuff like that, and then put it in your fridge. And hopefully the company that you're with has got you a fridge. If not, get one. You can buy one of those Alpi coolers for about $100, $200, and it acts just like a fridge. It's better than those Coleman coolers, which always break down after 3 months. So just that's where you're at. Sterling says, what is this malarkey? Defective Gazelle checking in from my home gun range. Buck Brown, random question, Steve. How do you feel about motorcycles? Asking for a friend. I wish I was in the motorcycle culture, simply because I think it's a cool culture. And I do appreciate the looks of a good motorcycle. However, would I ride one? Absolutely not. But that's just a personal fear of mine. I see how people drive, and Harleys are so loud. I'm like, eh. And I don't want to be on one of those ninja motorcycles because those are dumb. I mean, those are not for me. They're not dumb. If you like those, then more power to you. I have thought about getting one of those little Honda scooters, one of those little scooter things to put around town, but it's a good thing to get stolen, right? So, but I do know that truck drivers make good motorcyclists because they're extra safe in their driving, or should be. So, Sterling says, I agree. Low carb is frowned on. Keto birthday cake and salt has sugar in it. Yeah. I did find, okay, so about the salt post, if you get the Morton's sea salt, it's just sea salt. There's nothing added to it. So it cakes up a little bit, but some pellets of rice can solve that issue. So, in the container, not to eat. Same with living a life serving God in my experience. Yes, TJ, what's up? Yes, Shannon, it's very similar. It's very similar. Christ followers are frowned upon for the most part. Carb socialist. I try to be as welcome as possible into my alternative food sexual style. Shoot, if I was in Missouri, I would invite you to come have some chicken enchiladas. Tortillas are actually chicken. Nice. That would be cool. I won't eat fries, but I will indulge on beer battered onion rings once in a while. See, that's what I'm talking about, TJ. You can do little things like that, and you'll feel it, right? And it makes people less uncomfortable, because God forbid we make somebody uncomfortable, right? I mean, there are many times I'm at the store, or I'm in a convenience store, and somebody near me, and I feel uncomfortable, and I'm not having a fit about it, right? Buck Brown, I live my life behind bars when I'm home on my motorcycle. There you go. I have found that pasta and bread rarely flare up my arthritis, or really flare up my arthritis, which is problematic because I love carbs and sweets. David Edwards, it's not that you love carbs and sweets, it's that you're addicted to them. Simple as that. Read this book, Metabolic by Robert Lustig. For the love of God, everybody, read this book, listen to it, and it will tell you why it's addictive. My low carb lifestyle is like attending a gay pride parade with the Trump MAGA. Yes, yes, it is. Great analogy, says TJ. I don't judge you, says Old School, and don't care if you judge me. Everyone is accountable for their actions. That is true. Only if people choose to hold themselves accountable these days. Hello to all, says Tolga. Me and my dark side, says Buck Brown, have to remove ourselves from toxic environments. There you go. Welcome back, says, what's for dinner? I'm not sure what's for dinner tonight. I've been cooking dinner the last 3 nights because the wife's been sick. And last night I cooked this. This is cool. Here's a recipe. You guys want a recipe? 1 pound of sausage, like ground sausage. 1 pound of hamburger, ground beef. And brown it in a pan. Add some garlic, maybe some mushrooms. And then, my mouth's watering just thinking about it. And then take shredded cabbage, like the coleslaw kind that you get in the store prepackaged. Shredded cabbage, and brown the meat first. You got to cook the meat first. And then you got the pan, and you put your cabbage on top, and then you let the steam, the moisture from the cabbage, you put a lid on it and let that simmer for a little bit. And then you start mixing it up. Delish. Put some Parmesan cheese on it, maybe some tomato sauce if you're not like, it's really good. And just a touch, just a smidgen, and some cheddar cheese. That's what we had last night. Tonight, I'm not sure. Sterling says, okay, wait, hold on. David Edwards, negative. I cook on the truck. I actually eat better on the road than I do at home. Same here, David. I actually gained some of my weight back when I got home, because I was eating too often. That was part of the problem. So I had to get into a fasting regimen. Sterling says we're having tomahawk steaks, and the Angels' envy is nearly gone. Welcome back, says what's for lunch? I haven't. I'm probably going to have just a few hamburger patties is what I'm having. My biggest issue when I drove was I would have Mild swelling in my feet cramps. Haven't had the issue since 2021. Down 50 pounds from 280 at my heaviest. Excellent. Very good, my friend. David says, I don't do breakfast. Good. I typically coffee in the morning, meat sticks, homemade jerky for a snack around noon, and heavy protein and veggies for dinner. David, that's perfect. You just got to find a way to do that at home as well. David is in the step challenge with us. He is kicking my butt, LOL, but I could not. I said not cool about the spitting the water story. Oh, okay, that's when he said not cool. Your thoughts on cheesecake? I used to love cheesecake. Whoa, dude, do not take that turn. Wow. The school bus is in here and he's like weaving in and out of the cars and stuff. Sterling says I'll have to replay gang filming my Glock 43 repair video now. Cool. Sterling, I look forward to seeing that. Mrs. A, I don't know yet. Waiting to hear from Linda for cleaning at church this afternoon. If I don't go clean, I'll go to the store and Edward wants to cook. Okay, cool. My wife is updating me since she probably tried to text me or something. So, anyways, I just thought I'd tell the story. And it's Saturday. I'm gonna go over to the pawn shop and look at things that I probably shouldn't look at, and then I'll be home, wife. So, but anyways, I talked to a friend of mine. One of my metalhead friends works out here, and it's pretty cool. And people are looking at like, who's that weird bearded dude in the parking lot of the Purple Place, talking to his phone like he's animated and stuff like that. That's okay. I've got my water here. But anyways, I don't know if you enjoyed the story, or if you enjoyed my rant, but here's what happens, and Sterling could probably attest to this. I know Mrs. A can. Once you start seeing things in a different light, it changes your reality, and that's a hard thing to stomach. You know, it was for me. I'm listening to this metabolical book, and I'm just like, it's angry. I want to take a crumbit to all their throats. I'm just angry about it, you know, and they're all together. You know, the food companies are no better than the pharmaceutical companies. They're friends. They're out playing golf, thinking of ways, how can we make more profit and put our people, you know, let's put a strain on our healthcare system. Did you know that the strain on our healthcare system and our insurance is because of all metabolic diseases, like diabetes and you know, and did you know that like dementia and Alzheimer's is like considered diabetes 3, like type 3? Did you know that? Did you know that sugar affects your cognitive function? These people that say, oh, you need a good carb load to blah blah blah. No, you know, you can eat a piece of fruit because that's real, but sit there and like drink a Starbucks Frappuccino with an extra shot, no, that's not what your body needs, right? So if I don't make it to the store, I'll just throw together some kind of hash. Well, I can make it to the store, Mrs. A. Not a big deal. In fact, I can go to the grocery store for you if you want. So anyways, that means I should probably get off here because I've wasted too much time talking to my phone on my dash, and traffic looks dumb, so it's going to take me a minute to get over there. There's a bunch of school buses here. They're probably eating at the chicken place behind me. I saw the dash cam footage of the wreck in Georgia Welcome Center. A very hard watch. Yes, that was pretty sad. Can you imagine that Werner truck that was in front of that truck that had the dash cam? Can you imagine that guy's just sitting there in a sleeper and all of a sudden, boom, you're gone. I don't know. There's 2 people that died in that wreck, and I'm not sure. That had to be one of them. That had to be one of them, because there's no way that you're coming out of that. I mean, the sleepers are pretty strong, but not that strong. So, and then the fire. I mean, you're at least knocked out, and if your truck's on fire, then how are you going to get out? So, be careful out there. Be careful. You know, just imagine you're sitting there in a rest area. You think you're safe. You know, you got your handy piece by your side. Ain't nobody robbing you, right? But then, boom, a truck slams into you. That's why you need to make your peace. because you never know. You never know when it's going to be over with. So with that being said, thanks for watching. Strength for today, over tomorrow. If I feel like it, I might do a guitar live feed on the the big channel. So we'll talk to you later. Peace.